Soaring unemployment, sluggish wages, and a static housing market have really touched every American. But the real tragedy of the recession is the havoc that it has wreaked on the retirement incomes of millions of Americans who have planned and saved for their entire lives, only to watch that money drain out of their accounts. With rapidly dwindling savings and fewer opportunities for jobs than their younger counterparts, many middle-aged and older Americans are facing a really uncertain economic future. So what can we do to stave off the ticking bomb? Well, financial advisor Tom Crow, a great friend of the show, is here to help us today. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
We need your help on this one. Let me just provide some
optimistic intro there.
Well, I know it doesn't sound optimistic. I want to provide some statistics for our viewers first, okay? Because the statistics are pretty grim. I mean, this is the way it is. This is the reality. Listen to this. The percentage of American workers who said that they have less than $10,000 in savings grew to 43% last year. Okay, that's one. Here's another one. Nearly a quarter of the workforce said they have postponed their planned retirement in the past year. And that's really sad to hear that. And then also, 61% of workers say that they're now living paycheck to paycheck as compared to 43% 5 years ago. I mean, clearly we are not financially prepared for retirement. So is financial solvency even possible right now, Tom?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's possible for anyone.
Okay.
It just depends on the choices you're going to make, the lifestyle you're going to choose to live, and we've kind of seen this economy on a glide path and just everybody's economic situation in kind of a pullback mode. We've seen this massive global deleveraging. Everybody's trying to reduce debt, spend less. But yeah, you're right. People have had to dip into their retirement accounts just to make ends meet. And the tax penalties that go along with that just make it even that much more painful.
Exactly. And like I said, I mean, it's really hard to think that all your life you're working, and then at the end, when it all comes down to time for you to just relax and enjoy the benefits of your time and your work, it doesn't happen. I mean, the number of the employers that are providing the retirement benefits is even dwindling. So why is that?
Well, they don't have the money.
Okay.
It's just that simple. You know, that's a corporate expense that they have to make on behalf of their employees, and if they don't have the money, that's one of the first things that goes.
And that's sad. I mean, and if an employer does not actually provide the retirement benefits, then what would be our options? I mean, what can we do? What's the solution?
Well, you've always got the Roth and the traditional IRA to fall back on. If you don't have a company's plan, 401, 403, something like that, make sure you're doing something, and also make it automatic. You know, don't not do anything because it seems like an insurmountable problem. You know, I'm never going to have $1 million to retire on. Well, so don't start. You got to do something.
Right.
Start small. Make regular, either bi-weekly, monthly, however often you get paid. Start making small contributions to preferably a Roth IRA.
Okay.
Because that then gives you tax-free income in retirement.
Oh, good point. Okay. I mean, it sounds to me like what you're saying is just be practical, be realistic. Don't make unrealistic goals for yourself, right? Start small and then see what can happen from there, because every dollar helps. I mean, and here in New Mexico, I know a lot of people are thinking, how can I rebuild? How can I protect my retirement accounts that have already been drained by workers that are just trying to stay afloat? I mean, how do they begin?
Well, a couple things. First of all, make sure you know what you're paying. Some of your investments carry fees with them. You know, even if a mutual fund says it's no load, it still has an annual fee. You got to make sure if you're in individual stocks or a managed portfolio, know what you're paying your advisor. Make sure you know how the people who are helping you are getting paid. Probably about the only thing that you can buy for free is a bank CD, but they return such little yield. There's really not a whole lot there. Some of the annuity and insurance products come with big front-end commissions, which you don't pay right up front, but they do cut into your returns over the first few years while you're looking at a declining kind of a penalty phase to get out.
But should we be thinking no risk, no reward? I mean, should we be making bigger risks so that we can have a bigger payout at the end?
It depends on how long you've got. Like we've said before.
That's true.
If you don't have 3 to 5 years to let that money cook, you really need to think real hard about how much risk you're going to take and stay at the lower end of the risk spectrum. In the lower yield, unfortunately, with the Fed saying they're going to keep rates at 0 through the end of 2014, it's going to be a while before we start seeing savings accounts and some investments start really returning some decent yields.
It's scary. It is. I mean, as you said right at the top of the segment, Americans are really starting to lose hope. Things are looking a little grim. So how do we regain that confidence so that we can start to have, you know, an ability to retire with that kind of confidence and that kind of security in our hearts?
Well, again, I always harp on the debt thing. That can be the worst thing that holds you back.
Good point.
That's an automatic negative interest rate return on your money if you're in debt. So you got to start as along with putting a little bit aside for savings and retirement, putting a little bit aside, maybe even bumping up a little bit of what you're doing towards debt retirement, because that's the anchor around your neck that's really going to keep you from building that solvent position.
It's scary. I mean, the age-old issue is that, you know, you want to save more, you want to put more aside, you want to be smart, and yet you need the money to live. I mean, at the end of the day, you still have to pay your bills, you still have to eat your food, you still have to put gas in your car, but yet you want to be smart. So it's really hard to find that kind of balance, isn't it? I mean, do you have any
We're going to have to make some lifestyle choices. In this country, we are really going to have to make some lifestyle choices where we're going to start having to pull back, start living on a little bit less. You know, and also think about, I was thinking about this, things that you own that cost you a lot of money. You know, it's time to look at everything. To look at your phone, look at your internet, look at what you're spending on entertainment. Eating out is a huge one, especially for families with kids. That can really stack up. If your car, you know, it may not cost you a lot of money, but if you're paying a fortune in repairs or it's got poor gas mileage, if you're renting, maybe you could find a lower cost option for where you're living.
Good realistic tips. Not necessarily what we want to hear, but it is what it is.
It just means we're going to have to pull back a little bit till we get out of this mess.
Well, thank you for the tips, and let me know how our viewers can contact you.
Please, always call me. It doesn't cost anything to talk to me. Pro Financial, I'm here in town, 243-2281.
He's helpful, and he's a nice guy, too. Thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate it. Good to have you here. And coming up next on New Mexico Style, we are celebrating African Americans who have shaped our great state.